Today, he's entering the final year of his rookie deal. He'll likely reset the wide receiver market this offseason. Currently, Justin Jefferson, the top-paid wideout, $35 million a year. I caught up with Chase this morning, asked him how he wants this to all play out.
At the end of the day, I just hope, I get what's fair at the end of the day and, doing what my worth is at the end of the day. And hopefully I don't put too much pressure on anybody, but, I just want it to be fair. That's all.
What do you think is fair?
Fair is just, what I deserve. I can't really say everything I want to say, but, it's what I deserve, it's what I worked for, it's, how hard I worked for. It's a written story already, so it should be a fair change.
Yeah. When it comes to this team, obviously you guys got close, weren't able to get it done at the end of the season. What do you hope changes for next year?
Honestly, I hope we just finish stronger, finish better, finish faster, even start off better, because, starting off better will help us in the back end of the year. So it's just the smaller things that we got to clean up, get a couple things on defense, hopefully that'll make us even more better, and, just proceed to make corrections on offense that's going to get us in the right directions.
You guys are really familiar with the Chiefs as you look toward the Super Bowl. What do you think about how they'll play in that game against the Eagles?
Everyone knows I'm not a KC fan, so I'm hoping Saquon rushes for like 200 this game, so I think overall it'll be a great game just because both sides has great players on each side.
All right, there we go. So we know Jamar is picking the Eagles. Like it.
Oh, my goodness. All right, Jamar Chase proved his worth that he's talking about there this season, leading the NFL in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. He became the 5th player since 1970 to win the receiving Triple Crown, along with Cooper Kupp, Steve Smith Sr., Sterling Sharp, and Jerry Rice. His receptions and receiving yards broke a record for the most in a season by a Bengals player, while his receiving touchdowns tied Carl Pickens in 1995. You heard what Jamar said there. He was playing a little bit safe, but he gave...
Big dog receiving yards halfway to your passing yards over your career. That's crazy.
Yeah. He got some firing today.
I can't say what I want to say right now.
All right. Dan, should Chase want to re-sign in Cincinnati?
It's probably true, too. Yeah, where else would he go? That he's going to have quarterback play as good as he has it in Cincinnati. I mean, if you're talking about the guys that would be on the same level as Joe Burrow, there's like 3 or 4 of them, and none of those organizations can even remotely come close to affording Jamar Chase. So I think this is easy on both sides. Jamar should want to stay with Joe Burrow. He's been with them for a long period of his career, both in college and the NFL, obviously. And I think that the Bengals, this is an easy decision, make him the highest paid receiver in football.
Dio, I understand that. And that Joe Burrow relationship may be the sticking point. But if I'm Jamar Chase, we talked about this with Justin Jefferson, too. I want to see what the Bengals' commitment going to be this offseason. To the team. Defensively, we got to get better. Yeah. Because championships, obviously, he understands he can dominate this league as a wide receiver with Joe Burrow. But when you getting in the championship conversation, this team kind of fell off a cliff from where we thought they would be at this point right now. So I'm interested to see how long he waits. Jamar Chase, to me, is in the situation like when my daughter was trying to pick a school. You've given yourself the ability to wait as long as possible. You don't have to beat anybody to a deal. You're going to be the highest paid guy. I want to see what this franchise is going to do as far as putting us in a championship situation when we know Mahomes and Josh Allen and all of those teams have the ability to get better.
You heard Jamar reference the defense even himself there. Mina, let's assume that the Bengals pay Chase, but they're not able to keep T. Higgins. What does the offense look like in that case?
Seems like the most likely outcome. I think there are a couple things that they did this year that actually sort of shed light on what we might see if it's just Chase and not Higgins. One is the usage of Chase. This year, it wasn't just, hey, Jamar, line up outside and win. Sure. They moved him around the formation. He was in the slot. He was in motion. Almost more like Justin Jefferson in the Vikings offense is how he was deployed. That's going to have to continue. The other thing about the Bengals, they quietly became a 12 personnel offense as the year went on. Their rookie tight end, Eric All, got injured. He's going to come back. That's a position I would consider investing in if I'm Cincinnati when Higgins walks, because it also could help them run the football better.
I mean, you also saw someone like Mike Gesicki become a huge part of the passing game. So when Mina mentions that 12 personnel utilizing 2 tight ends, it didn't necessarily hurt the passing game. It just changed it. Yeah. And when you lose T. Higgins, though, make no mistake about it, this offense takes a hit. Yeah. For Joe Burrow, a guy who Dan even spoke about it yesterday, is so extremely accurate to have a guy like T. Higgins with that catch radius, but also with the strong hands that he has. I mean, I think that's huge. Jamar Chase, to me, is not going to worry about whether or not the Cincinnati Bengals can win a Super Bowl. They're going to worry about whether or not the Cincinnati Bengals are going to break the bank for me at this point. Right. He understands who he is with Joe Burrow, how good that those two can be together individually. They will get their statistics. And outside of that, guys like Yossi Voss, will Trey Burton become a piece of it? And also bringing along the run game with Chase Brown, how will that all play into the fact of how they score offensively, and they'll come along on the defensive side of the ball?
I thought it was interesting last night when you were talking with Joe and asked him how he felt, and he was like, great, my wrist still isn't there. And the fact that he comes off that season, and he seemed very confident that it was going to get to 100%, but he's like, yeah, the wrist is, I still can't throw it exactly how I want to.
Well, that's because he's the most matter-of-fact human that plays football. Right. And if you ask him a question, he's going to tell you exactly what it is. And when you asked him whether or not he wanted Jamar Chase back, matter-of-factly, he told you absolutely. And I feel like Jamar Chase, along with others, have earned every penny they'll get.
Yeah, he took that opportunity. We asked specifically about Jamar. He took that opportunity to reference T. Higgins, Trey Hendrickson as well.
Well, I say this about Jamar, too. Like, I'm not having a conversation with you about money.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I'm not going.
It's
like,
black and white.
Yeah, it's simple. I'm going to be the highest paid wide receiver, or I won't sign a contract.
Justin got this deal. I'm going to get X amount more than Justin.
Yeah. The way he said it, fair. Which I think we know what that.
Well, folks, the Dallas Cowboys just made a big-time move, shaking things up on the offensive side of the ball. They've gone and hired Clayton Adams, who's been running the Arizona Cardinals offensive line, as their new offensive coordinator. Now, don't go thinking he's going to be the one calling the plays. No, sir. That job still belongs to Brian Schottenheimer, who's sticking to the same approach Mike McCarthy had the past couple of seasons. But make no mistake, Adams is here for one reason: to get that run game moving like a well-oiled machine. With this hire, Schottenheimer's coaching crew is all set. And guess who's back in town? Matt Eberflus. Yeah, that same guy who had a short-lived stint as the Bears' head coach is coming home to Dallas as the defensive coordinator. If that name sounds familiar, it's because this ain't his first rodeo with the Cowboys. And to round it all out, Nick Sorensen is stepping in to take charge of special teams. Now, Adams ain't new to the grind. Before his 2 seasons with Arizona, he spent 4 years with the Colts, working up close with the O-line. And before that, he put in a solid 14 years coaching in college ball, cutting his teeth at places like Boise State, where he played center back in the day, and Colorado before leaping into the NFL. The guy knows the trenches, and if he can get that offensive line humming, the Cowboys' running attack might just become a real problem for defenses across the NFL. But here's the real question. Will Adams be the missing piece that gets the Cowboys back to dominating on the ground? Or is this just another coaching change that won't move the needle? Let me hear what y'all think.